What's up guys, and welcome to this new tutorial here on my YouTube channel. Today we will talk about board trim. We have the White Tiger here and of course Andrea. Hey man.
We can talk about board trim, but I would just focus more today on the straps.
Fine, let's focus on the foot straps then, because I was listening actually earlier today to you, how you were talking about it, and I was like, okay, we need to share this with the people out there, because it was very, very interesting and stuff that I've not heard of like this before.
Yes, because it's like in the end, we're getting pressure from the sail.
Yeah.
And this pressure we're putting onto the board, onto the fin.
Yeah.
And according to where our feet are, the pressure on the boards are changing.
Yeah.
And I've been sailing in the past a lot of Formula windsurfing, and that was like we were using one board, one very few sail sizes, one fin, and you had to kind of survive, light wind, strong wind. So we actually learned a lot, to put our feet on the board to create more pressure, less pressure, according to the wind conditions. So, it's like, what are you looking for in light wind? You're looking for power. Mm-hmm. What are you looking in strong wind?
Control, yeah.
Control. So, we can also, not only put a bigger sail to have more power or a smaller sail to have less power, but we can actually, or like, hiring the boom, harness line length, you can actually already do a lot just with your feet positions.
Well, this is something that maybe I did it a little bit naturally, but I don't know. It was something really new what you said. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure that everybody's doing it naturally, because let's say that once you're sailing, you kind of do it automatically. I mean, it's not that when I learned that I thought about it. It just came, I think, natural.
Yeah.
We have to think that in the past, a lot of times, the boards were also longer, and we saw people sailing with the front foot inside the strap and the back foot outside the back strap in light wind. Right?
Yeah.
That's because actually by putting your feet closer to each other, you're getting more power on the board. So not having both feet in the strap, but taking it out and putting it here, you have
more power.
So what happens is that nowadays with these new boards, you can't actually take out your foot and put it, in front of the strap. That would actually make this board kind of completely slow down.
Yeah.
Everything would go out of trim.
Yeah.
And in the past also, for the same reason, there were like 2 lines of back straps.
Yeah, okay.
Right? I don't know if you remember. Maybe
yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes. So now what we do is like, of course, like, the main point is like you're sailing with your feet inside. The further you stay out, the more you can press on the side of the board.
Yeah.
So you can press more on the side of the fin, and you can rail the board more.
Okay.
So in light wind, it's nice to be as outside as possible with the feet.
Yeah.
But it's not only that. The other thing you can do to get more power is to have the back foot slide, having the heel of the foot slide towards the front.
Little interruption, guys. Thank you for watching. In case you're enjoying this tutorial, feel free to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel to not miss any of the future video blogs and tutorials. And little advertisement, if you need anything windsurf related, feel free to check out our online surf shop, The Wind Lounge. It's linked right below the video in the video description. And with that being said, let's continue with the tutorial. I'll hope you learned something useful. See ya.
So practically what happens is that in light wind, instead of putting your foot out, as I said before, that you're losing the balance and everything, you can actually just be, of course, on as outside as possible, so that you can press on the rail more, and you slide your back foot heel forward. So practically you're sliding forward. What happens is that the distance between the 2 pressure points from the back and the front foot are getting closer, so you can actually push a lot more on the board, on the side, on one focus point, and you're giving more power to the fin, so the board is actually flying more in light wind. Without doing anything else. So without even releasing the whole of the clue, nothing. So it's a very comfortable position, just to go like a duck.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay.
Just like a duck.
Yeah.
So you're going outside and like this. What happens is that, of course, I see a lot of people having their foot straps really tight. Some people are saying that it's like they're kind of feeling scared that the foot will come out from the straps.
Yeah.
So they're having the feet inside and the foot straps really like touching to the front foot.
Yeah.
It's okay in light wind, because in the end you're sailing with your feet more out.
Yeah.
So it's not important, it's easy. But because it's so easy to sail in light wind, you don't actually need the straps. If you're trimmed well with the height of the boom, the harness lines, the muscle position, you actually could stay without foot straps in light wind.
Okay.
Yes. So it's better to have them a little bit wider because now the next step comes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm interested. Yeah.
So what happens is that you're sailing, it's light wind, you're sailing with your feet out, turned, heel from the back foot forward. And what happens is that it's better to keep the foot straps a little bit wider. I keep them very wide. Some people keep them also, I mean, most of the pros keep them very wide.
Yeah.
And what we do, because we're not touching the strap, but we still want to use the front strap to lift up the board, because you want to lift up the board when it's light wind to throw it more on the rail on the downward side. We're actually twisting the foot. We're twisting the foot and to catch the strap and lift it up. Of course, as I said before, it would be easier to have a tighter strap, you know, because then you don't have to twist your foot.
Yeah.
But it's not that uncomfortable. It's actually kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's also rotating your body towards the front to actually, you know,
go
push
fast,
faster and to push more on the board. But then what happens is that when the wind increases, you know, you don't have control when your feet are so far out.
Yeah.
Yes. So when the wind increases, you go back with your foot to the straight position.
Okay.
And you tend to go more inside of the straps.
Yeah.
And this is why the straps should not be too tight.
Okay.
Because if they're too tight, you cannot go inside.
Yeah.
And why do you want to go inside so much with your feet when it's strong wind? Because then, you know, you can rail the board when it's light wind, but when it's strong wind, you know, you want the board to be more flat, so it doesn't catch the wind from the bottom. It doesn't push you to catapults. So it's more flat. You have more control. So by being with the feet not on the outside of the board, but more on the inside, you actually help yourself to keep the board more flat and to have more control.
Okay.
If your foot straps are too tight, you cannot go inside.
Yeah.
So your board will be more shaky and
I
less
think
controllable.
Some years ago, I definitely made that mistake because it was exactly like you say.
Yes.
I felt more safe with a bit more tighter foot strap. And then actually in Tarifa, Ingmar Daldorf
Told you.
I saw it and I asked him, why is so wide the foot strap? Because I could put my leg in his foot strap.
Yes.
And then he explained me, and then
Yes,
it
and
helped
actually,
a lot.
you know, I bought your board for the fun race here in the Neffy Wind, and I thought for sure I have to make my foot strap wide. I actually found that they were comfortable, so I was like, "Oh, nice! Mario knows how to do it." That was good, you know. So
which is funny, by the way, because somebody else tried the board and he was like, "My God, your feet must be so big."
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I mean, I you know, a lot of I try friends' boards. You know, they go out with my board and I go in. I can, you know, hardly put in like one toe. You know, it's like, man, you have to make. No, but I'm scared. No, you have to learn. You know, just force yourself for a few hours to go with wide straps, and then you will feel how much more comfortable you are.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah, I agree.
And so what happens is that you go more in strong wind. Yes. So it's like the board actually becomes more narrow, you know.
Yeah.
And what you do with the back foot, the more wind there is, and if you're going like also like let's say downwind, instead of turning the back foot forward, you actually turn the back foot backwards.
Oh, when you're overpowered.
When you're overpowered. So it's actually, you know, if the pressure point is closer when you are light wind, when you're in strong wind, you try to turn the back foot to the back like this, so that the distance between the two heels is like wider, and you depower the pressure on the fin. I
need to actively try this.
Yes.
Maybe I did some of it.
Maybe you're doing it, but you don't realize, you know. But when you know it, you know, you actually play with it much more.
Okay.
Sometimes even if it's like stronger wind, you can still try to go a little bit more forward to get that extra power to go even faster.
So cool, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, then of course the setting of the straps, I like always to go as far back as I can. I mean, so if there's like I always go on the further back hole, because I want to be sure that my weight is lifting up the nose of the board.
Yeah.
You know, not that my weight is actually pushing down the nose of the board. So I want to go on the back as much as possible, because in case the board is flying, I can still move the mast track more forward.
Yeah.
And then the distance between the two straps is changing also, you know, according to your height, of course.
Yeah.
And one thing is like, I mean, I think there's a very easy test to see if we are together like this, you know.
Yeah.
If you put your feet like close like this and I push you, you're moving forward easy. But if you widen your legs, and I push you,
Yeah.
there's no way that you're going to fall. So in strong wind,
Depends on how hard you push. Yeah.
exactly. So in strong wind you get a strong push, so it's
Yeah.
better to go wider with your
Yeah,
stance.
okay.
So you go wider in strong wind, and in light wind, you can have actually to have power, like on a bigger board, like if you go on 80, 85 wide boards,
Yeah.
your stance between the straps can be like, they can be closer. So
Yeah.
leaving always the back one back, but like bringing the front one a bit more back gives you more power.
Yeah.
But then in strong wind boards, you don't have to be scared to go wider. Even if you think, oh, but I'm not so tall, it's better to go wider, because then you're like more stable with wider legs
Yeah.
compared to just standing straight,
Cool.
and you can lose the balance. And that's, of course, becomes a little bit more personal, according to how you feel. But it's not that, oh, I'm 170, I need to have the strap all the way back, the front one all the way back. I'm 190, I need to have it all the way forward. No.
Yeah.
It depends also on which type of board you're using. And so small boards, wider stance, bigger boards.
Nice. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, this is just a small detail, but I think
Yeah.
it's...
No, this is actually like a really special tip, I believe, because I don't know if I've seen it anywhere on the internet so far. So you guys out there can write in the comments if you've tried that before, and if you're trying it right now, please write us feedback in the comments.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you so much for the tip.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, feel free to leave us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I would say we see each other the next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
And little advice and little okay and krieg den Satz nicht raus and little advert warte and little advert it's linked down in the videos, it's linked right, and little advertisement if you need anything windsurf related, and little advertisement. Oh mein Gott, das ist wirklich and okay, warte.